One-on-One with MC1.
Welcome. Away, Jajay Weekday Marcus. Hello, my name is Marcus, MC1. Thrilled to be here. And today we have a very special show in order. Ladies and gentlemen, the accolades are too many probably to count for who we have today. But we'll start with just 6-time Grammy Award winner, multiple platinum selling group, iconic global brand from the Black Eyed Peas, a husband, a father, and an all-around good relative brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Taboo.
Yeah, MC1. What up, viewers? What's up, everybody in Indian country and all around the globe? I know that MC1, he has a reach that he is not even aware of because of all the work that he's been doing and putting in throughout the years. Not only in Indian country, not only with Nike N7, but just as an inspiration to all of us. I look at MC1 as one of my go-to confidants when it comes to information or like educating myself and wanting to learn more. I consider him a brother. I also consider him a great contributor to my growth and my understanding of where I come from and how I can learn more about, being of service and being a voice for Indian country.
Wow, bro. I don't even know how to fully file that, man. On the bro level, thank you. That's
yes, sir.
That's that image where that guy goes, whoa. First off, man, if you don't mind, just give us you can introduce yourself on your tribes if you want.
Yep. Government name, Jimmy Luis Gomez. I am half Mexican. On my grandfather's side, from Sonora, Mexico. And on my grandmother, she was from Jerome, Arizona, representing Shoshone and Hopi. And I'm just a proud LA kid. I was born and raised in LA, urban native as they call it. But I'm always learning. We started as 3 different nationalities, LA kids coming together, creating Black Eyed Peas, and the rest is history.
Wow. Okay. Hey, man, before we get fully off into the running, first of all, 2020's been crazy, right? But 2020 started off like right off the bat, the first day of 2020 kind of started off kind of fresh in the fact that you guys debuted in the Latin Billboard charts at #1. First of all, congratulations on that, my man.
Thank you, bro. Like, honestly, for us to be away for 8 years, when we took our hiatus in 2011 at the height of our career, when we had done the Super Bowl and the World Cup, and we had, swept the Grammys, all the things that you could ever think about, the accolades that, aren't really the priority. But if you talk about like what you've done in the industry, Black Eyed Peas, we have a very solid resume. Us being gone for 8 years, let alone me battling cancer in 2014, I would never imagine even having the blessing to be able to even come close to being, at #1, let alone on a different genre in 2020. So we're very humbled. We're very fortunate. We're blessed. It's hard to believe that in 2020, numerically, we're bigger than we were with I Got a Feeling and Where's the Love. And those are our two, for what they mean for pop culture, it's different. But numerically in 2020, we just reached 700 million views on YouTube with Ritmo, and it's only been out for 8 months. I Got a Feeling has 425 million and it's been out for 11 years.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you that the numerics and the algorithms are so intense now, that everything is so rapid that, you have different ears and eyes that are open and wanting to know about this group that's from the 90s, because we came out in 1998 with Behind the Front, our first album. And now in 2020, we have a resurgence and a rebirth of our career, and we're just very blessed, MC1.
Man,
and thankful.
That's freaking crazy, bro. So let's backtrack from all those accolades. Currently, I think your album just came out, and I think it's #3 on Billboard right now.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, those numbers you listed are phenomenal. Let's backtrack all the way to that high school kid, that LA kid, who's hanging out with his crew, and how did that start for you?
Well, I've always been into b-boying or freestyle dancing since I was like 10 years old. Like that's always been the thing that I've sharpened my swords with. Metaphorically, been in the gym shooting my free throws since I was a kid. You know, practicing 3 hours a day to eventually get to over 10,000 hours of practice, dancing, battling. You know, getting my chops up, sharpening my swords. As I said, you know, it's like every time I had an opportunity to battle, that was my thing. Like I always went in ciphers and circles, and that was my claim to fame. Is like if I could battle crews, one-on-ones, that's all I wanted to do. So it all started from the battle perspective, and you know, Will I Am was from the MC battle perspective. And back then, there was this club called Ballistics that was being thrown by Bud Bundy, aka David Faustino from Married with Children, and it was a all teenage hip hop club, and you had like dance ciphers, you had MC battles, and Will and X at the time, this was like in 92, 93, would always win the battles. So we formed a crew, and we became a crew called Grassroots, and it was like dancers, MCs, producers, songwriters, and Will and my other brother, Apple Diap, and my bro, Mookie, a.k.a. Joshua, got signed to Ruthless Records with Eazy-E. I remember Will wanted to start a new thing, a new group. And my brother Mook was like, yo, I don't want to rap anymore. I'm going to do something else. So he kind of left the group to pursue other things. And so it was just Will and Apple. And they were trying to figure out what the next thing for them was going to be. So I remember having a conversation with Will. So Will says, why don't you rock with me and Apple then? So I said, all right, cool. What are we going to call it? He said, we're going to call it Black Eyed Peas. And I was sold. And that was the day. We were 18, 19-year-old kids that started Black Eyed Peas in 1995. And the rest is history, man. All work, nothing but work, hard work. People think that it was easy. It was not easy. Even this 8-year hiatus was not easy, bro. Like we came back swinging. You know, unfortunately, it wasn't the same quartet that people were used to when we had the height of our career. You know, people were used to a certain, visual component, and it wasn't there. So people counted us out. Even our own label counted us out. Like, yo, Black Eyed Peas, it's not gonna work. Me, Will, and Apple were like, yo, well, respectfully, we're gonna keep it moving. So we kept it moving. Whatever happens, as long as we're still on that same frequency and we believe in each other, and we stay strong and we stay brothers before anything, we're gonna make it no matter what. And that was the idea going into creating Masters of the Sun, the album that came out prior to Translation. And it was like our hats off to our earlier work that we did in the 90s. And honestly, Masters of the Sun was a masterpiece for us, because we got to work with Five Dog from Tribe Called Quest, rest in peace. We got to work with Nas. We got to work with, Slick Rick was part of Constant. So the reality, we got to work with De La Soul. The reality of us being able to make an album that best represented the trio, to reintroduce the trio to the world, was the divine, connection that we've had throughout our childhood and now in our later years. So that was the setup for what was to come. Like, oh, get ready. This is what it's going to be. And Will said it best. Don't be upset when BEP out. Ain't no quartet. It's just 3 out. It's a trio. One amigo, Filipino, and a Negro. He said it on Constant. That's what he said. He let people know, don't be upset if it's not the same variation that you're used to, because we're coming out swinging as a trio. And so it led to one thing, us being able to also create songs like Ritmo on the side. Besides this hip hop record that we were doing, we created Ritmo and a couple other records that we saved for our big nuclear weapons, because we knew we could rock lyrical miracle hip hop joints, but we know how to make those records, right? It's like flexing muscles. But those Ritmos and those, I Got a Feelings and those Where's the Loves, there's a different type of muscle to flex on that, right? And that's how Black Eyed Peas was. It's like, yeah, we were known for our dancing and the fact that we're freestyle dancers that can rap. But then we said, now we got to flex our muscle to be able to rock the world. And that's where the whole idea of creating an album like Elephant, that's where you flex that muscle of like being able to not forcefully and not intentionally make hits, but that's what happened. We made a record that was synonymous with the world, with everything that was going on. People gravitated to it. The world accepted it, and the rest is history. And that was with this young kid that was coming out of a boy band named Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy.
Crazy, man. So that's just a crazy picture to paint, man. And success and props, bro, for sticking with it. I know, showing up's half the battle, but all the work you guys did, obviously paying off. So fast forwarding now to this current climate, and you've taken some of the mantra on of walking in some of your tribal roots, how your nativeness, for lack of better words, your indigenous side, how that affected you and affected how you saw yourself in that capacity. If you wouldn't mind speaking on that.
Yeah, it's always been a part of me, man. Like, my grandmother was so in touch with the roots as a kid. I would go to her house and she was all about Jerome, Arizona. And she would always talk about, life in Arizona. She never claimed LA. She always talked about her roots and her ancestry. And so, like, although I was a kid in LA, which was a predominantly Mexican-American or Chicano environment, my grandmother inspired me the most. So as when my grandmother passed away, I started getting more in touch with wanting to learn more about both cultures. So, there was always something. Even in Where's the Love, you could see me rocking the piece in the video to let folks know, like, I didn't have to be all regaliaed up or geared up. I just had to give you a little bit of my salute, just like my medallion. It's a little salute. It's a salute to a nod to Indian country, to let folks know that, I am proud to be Native. I'm proud to be Mexican. Fortunately, I'm able to travel the world and go to places where I perform in front of hundreds of thousands of people, but I'm always representing Indian country. I'm always rocking for our Native folks so that we have a voice that can connect with people around the world. And when people are like, oh, what's the indigenous community like in where you come from, then I'm able to speak on that. Because I feel like doing my due diligence and being in the trenches and doing my work, even though I was born in the city, like, I love learning, man. I love educating myself and not being afraid to not know, unapologetic about not knowing everything about being Native. Because a lot of people try to pull your card and, like, oh, you're, 1 minute you're Mexican, then the next minute you're Native. It's like, you get that a lot, and you get tug and pull, and you're like, well, how come you can't appreciate and respect both cultures and be proud to carry that flag? So we have those ancestral roots and the ways to give back. Right now, it's like it's been a huge focus of mine, like kind of what you said about me overcoming my obstacle with my battle with cancer. It led me to Standing Rock. Standing Rock was a big, huge component of my healing process, because I got to learn not only about myself, I got to learn about ways of being a voice and amplifying whatever I'm focusing on that happens to be, for the people. When I was coming up, I didn't really have that idea of what being a voice was. It's like sometimes you got to go through something so traumatic and so life-threatening that you find your path in your journey, and you say, oh, this is the reason why Creator had me go this way. This is the reason. It's all making sense now. And it's okay. It's okay to be able to learn and want to educate yourself. We're all human beings. We're going to have flaws. We're going to have insecurities. We're going to learn from our mistakes. But it's how you're able to bounce back from that. And I think my bounce back has been stronger than ever, because I've been able to really affect change and to be a voice and to really inspire the kids, because that's what I'm about, inspiring the youth. And not being afraid to poke fun at myself either, going along, because I love a sense of humor too, because every culture has its humor, respectfully, but also, like, not being able to challenge myself on wanting to learn more and still be a student.
That's props to you for being open to that, because as you probably have experienced, I want you to kind of expound on a little bit about this whole danged if you do, danged if you don't mentality. When you try to do good work in the earth, there's always somebody who wants to clap back or have something to say, or Remember back in the day with the mad rapper, he's always mad no matter what.
Yep.
I know every time we try to do something positive, there's an equal and opposite force that wants to maybe sometimes come back at that. Some people don't know behind this. I'll go ahead and set you up in this setting of, you know, a lot of the big systems in place that are going through a change right now. We're at the tipping point, I think for the first time in a long time in this country, where we're at a transition point. And places like Nike, places like the NFL, places like FedEx, these major corporations, I know sometimes you get a danged if you do, danged if you don't response, and people aren't really sure of some of the behind the scenes stuff that you've been doing. I have been luxuried with the perspective to get to see you walk around Nike headquarters with a mascot on your back and have meetings with high level executives with that standpoint for years before this.
Yeah.
And that type of, we call lead from the middle, or that kind of influence at those high levels is not what's always seen by you. And so how do you manage when you're trying to do good in the earth and you have to hear, you know, some clapback for the positivity you're trying to bring?
Well, a wise man told me to just find the mute button. I remember a wise brother, you know, he pulled me to the side over a phone call, and he's like, yo, sometimes you got to put the mute button. You can't answer every question. You can't solve every, problem. Yeah, you want to be part of the solution, but if you really don't have control of it, like, how can you really be the answer to it? You could be part of finding solutions and championing it. But sometimes you get hit with all these negative frequencies that you have to push the mute button. But for me, it's like, I love what Nike N7 stands for. I love the brand. I love what Sam McCracken and Izzy are doing up there to help Indigenous youth, and what it does for tribal communities. So on that end, I'm all about that. When it comes to the other, you know, overall brand, and are they right? No, I don't agree with a lot of things that they do, and that's not my business because I'm not part of that boardroom, you know. Can I affect change? Maybe if I, you know, position myself and find the right people. And I feel like we've been doing a lot of work being a voice.
I like how, you know, that we're not monolithic in our viewpoints and one way with our beliefs. So I like how you you give room to be both, that you can be for a program like N7 that $7.5 million, not gear, dollars went to Indigenous communities to actively support. And at the same time, you can also ask a Washington football team to change their name. So you can be both of those things at the same time. So that brings up, since we're kind of getting into your business here, a segment that I like to call Getting in Your Business. All right, man. So get in your business here right off the bat. Do you get a chance to binge watch anything?
I did.
What's your go-to binge watch right now?
Well, I'm telling you, honestly, I was so inspired and so moved by The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls ESPN special.
Yeah.
I mean, that era for me was incredible. I love the Magic versus Bird era, but the fact that I got to relive the moments of the MJ, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman era versus the Bad Boys versus the Knicks. It was dope, man. It took me back to the 90s, you know, hip hop, R&B, basketball. The NBA was at, you know, the greatest at the time. NBA was fantastic. Man. So I binged on the Last Dance, and I loved it. Recently I've been binging on Ozark with my wife.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm watching Ozark, yep. And then also I watched the Bruce Lee documentary on ESPN, Be Like Water.
You gotta watch that. I've seen it, but I haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan. So, you know, I also watched the Vin Sanity last interview that he did, speaking about his career, which is really dope. So I've been binging on a lot of sports because I miss my basketball. I miss watching sports.
Word. So I usually ask people, when you're scrolling your social media feed, Do you prefer content from your friends or from celebs? But in this case, obviously, some of your friends are celebs. So instead, I would just ask you, when you're scrolling your social media, what stops your scroll? What stands out to you? What gets your attention when you're scrolling?
I would say sports conversations or things that are happening in the sports world, b-boying or freestyle dancing, old school videos, sneakers, bro. Like, I'm a big sneakerhead, so anytime I see like dope kicks or kicks that are revamped and you know, surgically redone, like the shoe surgeon, is that what his name is? Yeah. So that cat, the way that he revamps sneakers is amazing. You know, he'll take materials and just sketches them out. And
if you had to come back to life as a pair of sneakers, which one would they be?
Jordan 3s.
Woo-hoo. That's what you'd be, a Jordan 3?
Yeah, I'll be a Jordan 3, bro. I love the Jordan 3, man. I know I should have said an N7 sneaker, but
No,
I'm gonna go with the Jordan 3. I love it, the black cement, bro. I've been rocking that lately.
No,
I rocked it on Good Morning America. I just did Good Morning America, and I had to rock the 3s.
Okay, if you could be a member of any TV sitcom family, which one would it be?
Ooh, great question. Yo, that's a dope question. Any sitcom family? Wow, man. Any sitcom family, I would have to go with. I'll go with the George Lopez family.
Oh, snap! All right, no, George Lopez, nice.
Yep, George Lopez family.
Hold it out, curveball. I like. Yep. What is there any sitcom family that's most like yours?
I don't really think there's any sitcom families that resemble us.
Man, you have to find representation of families like ours anyway.
Yep.
Issue of in Indian
maybe that's why we need to have more storytellers that break that mold and have more Native representation or Indigenous representation that are not your standard or traditional, like what people think, the stereotype and the go-to, what Hollywood would represent. You know, it's like, if we can have more of those storytellers, the Tazbas, the Tiaikas, even what I'm doing with my partner Ben, we're doing a lot of work trying to be those storytellers and learn and follow protocol and make sure that everything is bulletproof, so that we make sure we cover all aspects and we do it in a respectful way.
That's what's up, man. As an Indigenous business leader in the globe here, how do you navigate or integrate your tribal values or your Indigenous values into your profession?
That's a great question. I try to be able to give a platform to Indigenous voices.
Wow.
Like my first installment was working with this group called Mag 7, which you probably know of. That was like my first opportunity to say, look, I want to be able to not only make something for the Standing Rock movement, but also want to empower these amazing artists that maybe, they've been doing a lot of work in their own, places of impact, but I want to take them somewhere. And fortunately, we were blessed to go to the MTV Awards. And that was the first time that the beauty of our culture was represented at that level. No representation has been as impactful on that stage ever since. I've never seen anything close to that. Like, there hasn't been any other cultural representation and done in a respectful way where you had women leading with us. We had those sisters leading, and we're showing them the ultimate respect and letting them lead, be the matriarchs of that moment, because we said, hey, we want to honor our sisters. We want them to be part of this experience with us. And I've never seen anything so cohesive and so beautiful, because we represented not only the Native emcees, we also represented our Native sisters and what they mean to us as people.
Man, bro, so it's hard to find the words to describe what that was like being there with you live in that in that experience of, but just the props and the salute to you, man, for taking an opportunity like that, and where it would be real easy just to, like flex, and be like, boom. But what I dig, and what you won't take credit for, so I'm gonna have to say it for you, is your style of flex is always how you can prop somebody else up, how you can prefer somebody else, and to watch you navigate that live, and to see you take that opportunity. Because I mean, I'm gonna put it in context, kind of like you guys were on hiatus, and it had been several years since you guys had been Black Eyed Peas as a group, and here you are in your standalone moment at MTV, and you took that opportunity to platform not only us but Native issues. So it wasn't even just like, hey guys, here's an opportunity for you guys to be flashy. It was like, here's an opportunity for us to make Indigenous concerns known to the globe.
Exactly.
So props to you for having the vision for that and being willing to follow through for us.
Well, I look at it as a way for us to not only be there as artists, but also as leaders, as voices, as activists, as folks that can actually affect change with the platform and the vehicle that we're given, so that we don't make it about us, it's about we, right?
Woo.
We never made it about us. It was about we as Indian country, as representation to all the folks, Standing Rock, the women issues that B. Yellowtail and Sarah Eagleheart addressed, and the woman's warrior song that they beautifully sang on the red carpet or the purple carpet. It was beautiful. It was like the representation couldn't have been as, it was like a movie, because it was so beautiful and so impactful that everybody turned around like, yo, who is this? What is this energy that's coming into this room of all ego? And there was so much ego in the room because everybody's an artist and musicians, but we came in it on a spiritual connection. We came in it representing our ancestors and being vulnerable enough to say, look, we are here because of the Standing Rock movement, and we want to represent that, but also like we want to champion these other things and always make it about we. Not about you and you, but about we, how we can be of service, how we can help, how we can represent Indian country and do it in a respectful manner.
Sick. Oh, man. Okay, man. So last but not least here, I've had the luxury and privilege, and I appreciate you for letting me tag along with you at quite a few events that you've taken me with you at several different spots. We've seen the world together, and we've rocked some crazy stages and
yes, sir.
seen some crazy experiences. But there's one that stands out to me, and it brings me to our last little part here. We did a show in New York City, and after that show in New York City, we went to a New York City club that I think because of who you are, we got in at a level that I would normally have never got in. And so there we are, all maybe 20 of us, Indigenous people that you had put all together, and we're all at that club having some food, and the DJ downstairs is playing some dope music, and they opened up that special VIP session for you and for us. Everybody was with you, and so we're back there in that VIP section. And the rest of the whole club is out here. And I go.
What's funny is that was a restaurant, and they turned it into like a little spot for us.
Yeah,
it's a very very what do you call it, chic restaurant that folks, tourists and folks go to, and they turned that back section into like a little VIP room for us, and they gave us, they kept serving us food. Remember that? It was like food, music, and like a little dance floor that they created for us.
It was upscale, man. And then at one point, I got the DJ. I was like, hey man, we got a Black Eyed Pea in the house, bro. And at one point they play, one of your library anthems, one of your many anthems, and the electricity in that, again, we've been on stages together, and I've seen you rock thousands of people. Energy in that 750 people little restaurant turn chic after hours food club dance move. When your song came on, and where we were at, and the club became aware that you were there. And then, of course, you kicked into Peace mode, rocked that. And for the first time, it was almost an out-of-body experience for me to be on that side of the ribbon. And usually that's something I would have seen happen from over there. Mm-hmm. But for Indigenous people to be the group that everybody else wanted to be, I had never experienced anything like that. And so I just wanted to thank you for making that moment possible, man, because that was life-changing for me.
Yo, that was a beautiful moment. One of my favorite moments was like, we had a show at the Seminoles. Big respect to our boy Doc and Spence. We had a show for the Seminoles, and I had just gotten the MTV awards, and just seeing everybody's faces and how proud they were, and all the work that we put in to make that happen. It showed that if you dream big, things can happen. And I see the work that you put in, Dreeses, Superman, PJ, Doc, Spence, even my verse and Kahara Hodges, all the folks that have ever contributed. And I'm very honored that we all got to share from that moment, and we're still sharing from that moment. And I love seeing you when you have the Moon Man in your hand, and you're going and you're talking to kids, and you're holding a representation of dreams and hopes. And for Native kids that, you started as a b-boy, MC, DJ, so you've done everything in hip hop. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you did graffiti as well, but what I've known of you is you've always held hip hop at a high praise and part of your heart, part of your representation. And for a hip hop kid from Oklahoma via Cali, because you were in Cali prior to that, it's beautiful to see you when you had retired your cleats and you're like, nah, I already retired my cleats to come out of retirement and rock on Standing Rock. And now for you to have that part of your catalog, and you can actually say, yo, we were part of that journey. We won the first Fight Against the System MTV award. We were part of that, so that was dope. That's success for me, bro. To see you guys light up like that, that's like, yes, we're doing this together. We are doing this together. Not me, not him, not her, but we.
What can we do for you, man, in closing? What can we do for you? What can we be on the lookout for, and how can we support you?
Well, just please, if you haven't picked it up, check out the album Translation. Sorry to be a seller right now, selling my album, but that's really what it is right now. It's an album for escapism, for folks that need to feel good, have a good time. We got an all-star lineup. We got J Balvin, Shakira, Maluma, Ozuna, Tyga, French Montana, Piso 21. The list goes on and on of all these amazing Latin artists. And Latin right now for us is the international sound. And with this record, we just laser focused. We crystallized the messaging of celebrating an international frequency and doing it at a time where we need hope, we need good vibes, and we need that energy to make people dance, to make people work out. That's what Translation is all about. We could have made a record where everything's grim, the world is effed up, and there's no way out, and all the things that are negative. But we said that's not the light that Black Eyed Peas brings. We've always been able to bring a positive message. We've always been able to bring things that uplift the spirits. And I think Translation is a best reflection of that. And it also empowers the idea of brown and Black folks coming together, learning about each other's cultures, exchanging cultures. It's a cultural contribution because you also have Filipinos, you have, a Cambodian, half African American. That's Tyga. You have French Montana, who's from Morocco. So you have all these amazing nationalities coming together to show the world how we can be a mosaic of art and represent it to the fullest.
Beautiful, bro. Do you have any last final comments or concerns that you want to make sure we catch in here?
Yeah, so thank you to all the folks that that tuned in and that have been tuning into this amazing platform and vehicle for MC1. You know, I watched the one with Superman and it was dope. It inspired me to want to be part of this experience. And also to all the folks that are out there going through their own trials and tribulations. I want you guys to know, keep your head up, stay strong. I know sometimes we're really affected, especially folks on the res. Just know that we're praying for you and we're thinking about you, and we send you nothing but love and positivity, especially in these moments of uncertainty. We need more folks to just keep your heads up and know that there's folks like us that are thinking about you. Big shout out to Sam McCracken, Izzy, 19S7, Bunky Echohawk, Trish, Tracy J, all the folks that are representing. We appreciate all the love and everything that you guys do for us. Much love.
Much love. All right, brother, I'll let you get back to your Black Eyed Peas world, man. And thanks for showing me the love. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sending ultimate love.
If I'd have saw us as a kid, I'd have wanted to know us. Don't want to blow this. Guess the flow causes the need for closeness. I know this makes its way down to the hopeless. So it's the red and green dots on the target. Laser focus. Like that time we did a show up in New York City. People going crazy, but we had rock committee. Had a gang of people with us, we know itty bitty. Even had a black eyed pea that was rolling with me. We just did a show with an icon, rocking those anthems, somebody go grab the Nikon. Did a tribute for Standing Rock with our fight song. All kinda hard to believe, yo, is this mic on? Likes on our Instagram, we slam into the night. VIP section, and our collective is nice. They bringing bottles to the booth, flashing all of them lights. We in that VIP, hollering about water is life. We gon' get it, I said it. Might not win the pennant, but I'm swinging for the fences like Serena playing tennis. We got a passion for the business, you can be the witness. Used to rock a starter jacket, but headed now to the finish.